Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. So it is so nice for me to see you in this afternoon because I finally can bring this interesting materials to you, especially for you who want to take a TOEFL test. Okay, so as you can see here in my title, I would like to bring a topic as get to know tips and tricks in doing TOEFL reading comprehension. So before we jump into that, first of all, let me introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Rati Safrini Jaima, and I am an English lecturer. And um, you can call me Miss Rati, well, if you want. Okay, so now let's take a look of our presentation. The first is we of course want to know what is reading comprehension, right? So if we try to translate a reading comprehension word by word, it means that reading comprehension is we try to comprehend, we try to understand the context of a reading passage, okay? And this reading comprehension is one of the skill that will be tested in TOEFL tests. So you will have the listening skill, you will have the grammar, and finally you will have the reading comprehension. So in TOEFL test itself, reading comprehension is the last session in the test, okay? And it has 50 questions, 5 passages mostly, and then 55 minutes. So as you can see here that it is a very, very short amount of time with massive, massive question and reading passages. So yeah, um, it is well known that one of the common difficulties for the test takers of TOEFL is to do the time management, especially in reading comprehension. Mostly, or most of them will run out the time before they can actually finish all of the question. So that is very important for you guys to be able to manage your times and how to do that. That's what we're going to look for, okay, get to know in this session. Well, the next question is it hard? Is it hard to do the reading comprehension? Well, the answer is a lot of people say actually reading comprehension is easy or at least less difficult compared to listening and structure. Interesting, right? So most of them will say because of the answer is all there. The answer that you want to look for is all there in the reading passages. So all you have to do is just to look for it, okay? And the next question is it true? Is it true that reading comprehension is easy? Well, talking by experience, not really. Not really, you guys, especially if you don't have any experience in doing TOEFL test before. So yeah, and then, but don't worry, okay? Why is it hard? We have to find out why reading comprehension is hard, all right? The first is the passage might be not familiar to you. All right, guys, if you know the TOEFL stand for Test of English as a Foreign Language, right? So we are talking about foreign language here. It is not our language. It is not our cultures. So, so yeah. What is it? Definitely, the the task of the TOEFL will be not familiar to you. So it makes one of the reason why this reading comprehension is hard to you. All right, and the next is it is foreign language. Yes, just I told you just now, it is a foreign language, so it is harder. Even when you try to do the task of bahasa, sometimes you just can't understand, right? You just uh, confused about what you want to do, what you want to what is it look for when you do the bahasa, the test in bahasa. So now you have to do it in foreign language. Of course, it will be harder for you. And then, okay, this is also important because it is the last session of the test. Yes. So in TOEFL test, after you struggle with the listening comprehension, and then you struggle with the structures, with all the rules and the tenses, and then finally you meet with the reading comprehension, you guys. So as I told you before, that reading comprehension consists of 5 passages, and normally it will print out in a very small font. Normally that's what happened in the lapangan. That's what happened in reality. So it printed in a very small font with a very narrow space, and then because it is the last session, you already have like a burn brain, like you can't stand it anymore. You're just too confused and have a probably headache, and then you have to solve 50 questions of reading comprehension, and that is not easy at all. Yes, talking by experience. Okay, and then I told you that it is hard. It is not that easy. Okay, but don't you worry. Don't you worry. Reading comprehension is hard, but it is not a mission impossible to you. There are some tips and tricks that can be prepared before you follow the test, okay? And it will be revealed now, okay? So, okay, now here, things you should keep in mind. That's it. TOEFL is a test of English as a foreign language, okay? And because this is a foreign language, it is not something you're familiar with, okay? So um, in order to take a test of something, first of all, you have to have a basic, you have to have a experience, or what is it? Sometimes to learn it before you take the test, right? Right? For example, like when you want to have a what is it, a test in cooking. Okay, so you have a test in cooking. Of course, you have to follow uh, like a cooking course before, like you have to know how to cook and something like that. And you learned it before you taking the test, right? So same thing goes to TOEFL. Okay, so people who want to take a TOEFL test must be people who already have an experience to learn English before. Okay, so they at least have a basic English. Okay, so i I have some experience when people ask me about how to get what is it, a good score in TOEFL, or how to do a TOEFL test. And then the first thing I ask to them is, do you have any experience in learning English before? Have you ever taken any English courses or something like that? Because if you want to do the TOEFL, means that you want to test your English, okay? So you cannot test your English if you don't have any English input before, okay? So you cannot jump for example, from A, B, C, D, um, what is it, to the TOEFL level. Okay, so if you want to take the TOEFL level, make sure that you already have an what is it, some period of time of experience, so you will get the basic English before you jump to the TOEFL test. If you already in this page, it will be much easier for you to follow the test. Yes, because you already have a lot of saving, like a vocabulary saving on your brain, or maybe a grammar rules on your brain, something like that. So it will be easier for you. Yes. Okay, and next is common mistakes. A common mistake that usually done by the TOEFL test taker. Okay, the first thing is very common. Read the whole passage. Okay, like most of us will do this when we see the passage, and then we tend to try to read the whole passage. Okay, and the next is discouraged by unfamiliar topics. As I told you before, that the TOEFL because of it is from another country, it will have like different approach, different cultures, and it will be different from us. So the topic in the TOEFL passages in the reading comprehension must be not familiar, and most of us tend to discourage by it. Like we become very stressful at the time we see it, okay, and it's not good for the rest of the day. And then number three is tough in one hard question. Yes, it is also often due by the test taker. So um, what is it? They keep trying to look for the answer. They know that it is hard, but they keep trying to answer that, and that is not good. Okay, and number four, it is also not good. Is blindly guess the answer. Okay, it happens if you already run out of time and you still like have 20 blank what is it answer sheet, and you just like randomly cross the answer. That is not wise at all. Okay, so don't do this. All right, so what should we do then? Okay, what should we do to avoid the mistake? First is, yes, do not read the whole passage. Okay, so I will give you the pictures of this. Okay, the TOEFL passage is consists of several paragraphs. Okay, and it's sometimes in like 50, 15 lines or something like that. So if you take your time to read the whole passage, I guarantee that you will run out of time at the end of the session. Okay, you cannot answer of all of the question. So instead, do this: skim and scan. All right, this is very a general strategies in reading comprehension, right? Not not only in TOEFL but in all reading tests. You have to skim and scan to find the main idea or organization of the idea, and then you have to look ahead at the question. Okay, yes, to determine what language skill are being tested, and find the keyword. You can find the keyword if you look ahead at the questions. All right, so what you want to do is when you open the paper, when you open the page, and then you found the passage, try to read it like 2 minutes or uh, not 2 minutes, no, not at all. I mean, 2 seconds or 3 seconds will be enough to have a glimpse of the pictures of what the passage is talking about, all right? And then after that, look ahead at the question to look for the keyword. What is the keyword given by the question? And then after that, you have to do this skim and scan into the passage. It will help you a lot rather than read the whole passage, okay? And then here, read only the part of the passage that contains the keyword. Later on, I will give you the example how to do the skimming and scanning systems. So don't worry, right? Here we have another, okay? Do not get discouraged by unfamiliar topic. Yes, it is true that TOEFL will most likely have unfamiliar topics such as here is the what is it? The things, the knowledge that you will get in TOEFL test. First is science and technology. It's about like 40% on it. Of course, the science and technology here will be from the another country, right? Okay, and then USA is about USA, about the history, about the politics, about the cultures, and it consists of 20% on it. And arts. Arts is interesting, but sometimes a lot of us do not understand the diction of art, right? So that's make art is what is it? Hard um, to do. And then social science and geography. Okay, a lot of things. So that make you what is it? That makes you harder to do the reading comprehension test. But don't worry. Remember, you are tested about the language skills, not the content of a certain topics. You understand what I mean? So, for example, the patient is talking about the healthy, about the health, about the doctors, about and it what is it contains of words that we are not familiar with. Okay, so you have to remember that we are tested about the language skill, not about the content. So it is impossible uh, for the TOEFL test to give you a question that is not included in the passage. Okay, so here, yes, you are right. It is time for me to say the answer is there. All you need to do is to look for it. I'm so sorry, but I have to say it because it is true. Yes. Okay. So, but don't worry, we will go there soon. Relax. Okay. Here, do not stuck in one hard question. Yeah, but we tend to do this often, right? It is okay to take a bit more second, like to think, but do not stuck in there. Remember that you need to do 50 questions in 55 minutes, okay? So do not waste your time to stuck. So but do not skip it, right? So for example, in 50 question, you cannot answer the question number 5, right? Because it is too hard for you. You don't know what to do. And then, but you may not stop there for some minutes only to try to answer the one number, okay? So, but you do not skip it also, right? So you may not skip it too. Never leave anything blank in your answer sheet. Why? Because it will take more time for you to look for it again later on. For example, you already finished the 50 numbers, and then when you want to go back and then you have to check like one by one, and it will waste your time. So what to do is it's better to choose the answer which you think will be most likely the right answer. So for example, from the A, B, C, D, right? Okay, and then mark it. When you have more time, then you can go back and already have something to help you choose the answer. For example, like I said before, the A, B, C, D, and then you are not sure, but you think the answer is B, and then you can like make a mark on your answer sheet, and then after that, after you finish the whole task, and then you can go back, and then you already have something there, you already have a memory there, so you are not completely lost, you are not completely blank, you know what I mean? So it will save more time for you. All right, so here I give you the pictures. Yes. However, do not blindly guess the answer. This is related to the third option, the number 3 tadi. Do not blindly guess the answer. So what you have to do is, take a look. Consists of like 4 options, right? So it has like 20% each. So rather than blindly guess it, try to eliminate them. Okay, so which one you think that is really impossible, and then you can try to eliminate at least 2 of them. So you will have 2 options, right? And it will increase the chance for you to get the right answer. Okay, you got what I mean, right? All right, next, types of reading comprehensions. Okay, so types of questions in reading comprehension. Here we have overview question, including main idea, organization, and transition. We have stated in detailed question. We have implied detailed question, vocabulary question, and then, okay, so by knowing the type of question here, it will also help you to determine which approach you want to use, okay? Because we will do the skimming and scanning strategies. So it will help you if you already know the type of question, the characteristic. It will be easier for you to find the answer, because as I told you before, the answer is there. All you have to do is to look for it. And the next question is how, right? So now this is the way. Alright, the first thing is overview question. It's about the main idea. The main idea asks you to identify the most important point in the passage. This is the sample question, okay? You can read it by yourself. One of the example is, what is the topic of the passage? So it has like 4 options right there, but actually the purpose is the same. It's asks you about the main idea. So if you have this kind of question, what you have to do is read the first line of each paragraph. So it's like to skim the passage. Look for a common theme or idea in the first line, okay? Skim the rest of the passage to check that you have found the topic sentence. So we may not, all right, read the whole passage because it will waste our time. So what we have to do is we only read the first line of each paragraph. If it's only have one paragraph and that it is better for you, you can just read the first paragraph or maybe the last paragraph, because sometimes the main idea will be in the first or in the last paragraph, right? So this is the example, right? This is the passage 1. You see a very long passage with 50 lines here, 15 lines here. So it contains of 2 paragraphs, right? If you want to read the whole this with, foreign language, with English, well, maybe there are some words that you do not understand, it will make you more confused. So rather than do that, take a look, jump to the question, look ahead to the question to look for the keyword. The keyword is what is the passage mainly about. That's our keyword, right? So this question is asked about the main idea of the passage. So where is it? Okay, there you are. The answer is yes. Martin Luther King's childhood. We can see from the verse paragraph, right? Uh, there is someone named Martin Luther King, and then the next sentence is, but fewer people know much about King's childhood. So the main idea of this passage is about Martin Luther King's childhood. That's easy, okay? Only a couple seconds and then you can do this, right? But of course, you need to know the basic English, yes? If you already have the experience, you already have the vocabulary bank, it will be easier for you to understand the whole what is it, things that you read, right? Not the whole passage, but the whole things that you read. For example, you know that, oh, this is the main idea. I need to read the first piece, the first line or the first paragraph, the first sentence of the paragraph. But if you do not have any basic English, if you do not have any vocabulary, well, it is, I don't know how to say it in Bahasa English, like, you know, okay, it's just wasting of time because you don't have any input. So yeah, before you want to take the TOEFL test, make sure you already have experience in English before, okay? Next, organization. All right, this is interesting. Asks you to determine how the idea in a paragraph relate to the idea in another paragraph. Very interesting. So this is the sample question, okay? How is the information in the passage organized? Okay, and what to do? Read the first line of each paragraph. Look for words that show relationship amongst the paragraphs. Okay, here is the example about carbohydrate. All right. about sugar. I'm sure that a lot of word here that are not familiar to you. Okay, so if you try to translate it one by one, it will take too much time. You probably need a dictionary, and you may not open your dictionary in a TOEFL test, right? So here, jump into the question. Which of the following best describe the structures of this passage? All right, you see here the arrows that I already prepared for you. Talk about this carbohydrates, and then here a diet that is deficient. Okay, so the answer is definition and example. In the first paragraph, it gives the definitions of the topic, and then in the second paragraph, it gives like the example of the definition. So the organization here of the passage is D, definition and example. Next, okay, it is about the asks you to assume the probable main idea of the paragraph that precede or follow the passage. The sample question, the paragraph preceding the passage, probably. It is so interesting because it is actually not stated there, but you are asked to mm, to imagine, okay, to get to know the proceeding of the passage. And then what you have to do, read the first line or two of the first paragraph for a preceding question, and read the last few lines of the last paragraph for a following question. So there are two things you have to underline here, whether it is preceding or following. If it is preceding, means that you have to read the first line. If it is following, you have to read the last lines, all right? And then draw a conclusion about what comes before or after. Kira-kira apa gitu ya yang akan datang di before and after-nya. Here is the example. It is about a pilot. It is about a radar, all right? It is not familiar to most of us. So what should we do with the question? Try to find the keyword. Which of the following would most likely be the topic of the next paragraph? So we are asked to find a topic in the next paragraphs, okay? So don't you worry. Now read, because this is a following, right? The next paragraph, the following means that we have to read the last line, the few last lines of the last paragraph. Okay, so the answer is, there you are. Other uses of radar. Besides being of critical importance to pilots, radar is essential for air traffic control, traffic seat at the sea, and for tracking weather system and storms. So most likely the next paragraph will tell a story about the function or the other uses of the radar, right? Yes. The development of these example mentioned in this last paragraph. All right, next, factual question. Asks you to find the information or explicit facts and details given in the passage. This is the sample question. According to the passage, blah, 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 and then what to do. Just a keyword in the question. Scan the appropriate part. Okay, you have to scan the appropriate part of the passage and find the keyword, right? Here is the example. Okay, we go back to the Martin Luther King Jr. According to the author, Dr. King was influenced by, okay, now we have to find the keyword. The keyword is Dr. King, right? And then try to look for Dr. King in the passage. And you only focus on that word, okay, on that word. And then there you are, the Dr. King. And the next sentence is, Dr. King never forgot the community spirit had known as a child. So the answer is Yes, he is influenced by the community spirit. Easy, right? You can answer the question less than a minute if you do the strategy correctly. Next is negative question. Actually, to determine one information that is not given in the passage, right? So it is like the negative uh, things in that passage that is not true, right? What to do? Just a keyword. Yes, the keyword is very important, and then scan the appropriate place. Um, okay, and then let's take a look at the here. Okay, according to the passage, which of the following does not describe carbohydrates? Yang mana yang tidak mendeskripsikan atau menggambarkan karbohidrat? Okay, you can see here the arrows. Okay, you can read it, right? So the answer will be a protein supplies because it is not a what is talking about in the passage. Okay, next is okay. Scanning question. Where in the passage does the author specifically stress blah blah blah? Okay, to know the blah blah blah, we have to look for the keyword. That's right. So it's about the foot racing. And the question is interesting. In what line does the author give reasons for why people enter foot races, right? And then you can see the arrow right there. Yes, it's about the foot racing. There you go, right? So find the keyword and then you can find the foot race. Foot racing word is in the very first line, right? So just read around that word and then you will find the answer. The answer is A. That's it. The author gives the reason why people likes to do this because of it is seen not only as a competitive sport but also as a way to exercise, to enjoy the camaraderie, to donate money. So the author gives the reason why people like foot racing very, right in the very first line of the paragraph of the passage. Okay, next. Sample question asks you to make a conclusion about the information that is not directly stated in the passage. Okay, so it is interesting because the statement it is not there, but you are asked to to conclude it. Okay, here a pilot. What might be invert about radar? Okay, the answer is right there. Yes, so that's it. It has improved navigational safety because in the first line you can see a pilot cannot fly a plane by sight alone. Okay, in many conditions, such as flying at night and landing in dense fog, a pilot must use radar. It means that radar has improved, has a function to help improving the navigational safety of the pilot and the plane. That's it. Super duper easy, right? Okay, next. Proposed question. Why does the author mention blah blah blah? Of course, you have to find the keyword and scan the appropriate parts. Okay, this is the example. Or it's about surrealism. Okay, surrealism is something that is really unfamiliar for me. So if you ask me to explain what is realism, well, it maybe takes some moment for me to think before I can answer you. But remember that you are tested not about the content of the message, but about the skill. Okay, and the skill here we have to know, we have to find the keyword in the a question. Why does the author mention Dadaism? You can try to look for Dadaism in uh, the passage. There you go. And then the answer is okay. to give background information about surrealism, right? As you can see here, surrealism was a movement in graphic art and literature that was founded in Paris in 1924 by André Breton, inspired by another movement in art called Dadaism. So, um, why the author mentioned about this? Because the author wanted to give the background information about surrealism. What is the root of the surrealism is Dadaism. Okay, you don't have to really understand what is surrealism. You don't have to really understand what is Dadaism, right? You only have to get the right answer and how to do it. Okay, you already know. Okay, next vocabulary question. Okay, this is interesting. Ask you to determine the word or phrase that can be best substitute for a word or phrase in a passage. Well, this is the way. Well, vocabulary question is actually can help you to save a lot amount of times if you already have a lot of vocabulary bank in your mind. Okay, um, that's why I said before it will be easier for you if you already have a vocabulary bank, so many vocabulary bank in your brain. But if you do not have that already, or if you do not have that yet, and then this is what you have to do. All right, there you go. The word alter in line 7 means, okay, so word altered is kind of hard for us because we do not use the word altered. So what to do? You have the option right there. There is a change, forgot, believe, and allowed. Okay, so how to, okay, if you already know the meaning of altered, it must be easier for you to choose the option, right? But because you don't know, so you have to use this trick. First is you have to scan where is the word altered is. So it is in around in line 7. They never altered. And then you try to find the context, the meaning of the word by the context of the sentence. They never altered or revised. I'm sure that most of us here are more familiar with the word revise. All right. So by knowing that, we know that the answer is yes. The answer is A, is to change. All right. So it will be another story if you also don't know what is the meaning of revise, right? So that's why I beg you before you follow the TOEFL test, prepare yourself with a lot of vocabulary. Okay? Next, relevant question. All right, this is, oh, actually this one is, mm, let's say like the easiest type of question in TOEFL. Yes, but sometimes it could be confusing, okay? But so still you have to be very careful. So here are the example. Mhm. In line 13, the word it refers to which of the following. Okay, another tips when you do the TOEFL, they normally will give you the line as you can see here in the left side. There is 1, 5, 10, 15. It refers to the line of the passage. So when you have a question like this in line 13, don't bother to look at the other line. Just go right there to the line 13. You can count it like the 10 line is in the second paragraph means like the line 13 means like 2 steps after that, right? So there you go. The word it refers to, and to do it, you have to look at before and after. Yes, because sometimes it is in after and sometimes it is in before the sentence, before the word. So the answer is okay. You can see there it neighborhood. So the answer is must be B. All right, so that was actually the end of the types of the tests. Yes, all right. So after you listened about this, I'm sure that you already have a pictures in your mind, right? That TOEFL test have a types of question. If you train yourself, if you keep practicing, I'm sure that one day you will get familiar to the types of the question. If you already familiar with that, and then it will easier for you to determine what to do, whether you get the scheming strategies, whether you have to use the scanning strategies. Okay, and also it is very important for you to, as I say, from the very beginning, you have to have an experience to learn English in such a period of time. The more you learned it, the more you get used to English, the more vocabulary you will get, and it will be much easier for you to pass the TOEFL test. Okay, so at the end of this meeting, I wish you a very good luck. Um, thank you so much for listening to my voice. I hope that you can understand this explanation as best as possible. Um, thank you so much for listening. I think that's all for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.